days it's becoming delay from my end because I am working on one of the US client project. It's taking about midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sorry for the delay. By Monday, the release is going to be done. Sharp 7:40, I'll start the session from Monday. Not 8, 7:30. Okay? 7:30 will go? Okay.
Yes, sir.
7:30 meaning it will become 7:40 automatically. Right. Now, almost about this Monday, the release will be done. So I'll become little free. Okay. So there is a delay because of this reason. That's what I would like to explain you. Okay. Let us start the session. So test case writing work. So Legend, we have two approaches of doing testing, formal testing and ad hoc testing. We know formal testing meaning the very systematic way of doing testing is called formal testing. Proper documentation, proper procedures are carried out to validate a product. The mostly carried out process, after gaining the knowledge about the product, we need to properly document totally what needs to be tested in the product, called scenarios. All scenarios we submit to the next level team lead, who will have a check whether all the requirements are documented, all the features to be tested properly documented or not will be verified. Once the scenarios are verified and approved, for every scenario, what do you mean by scenario here? For every functionality identified in the product for testing, we plan how to test this product functionality, both in positive and negative direction. Whatever the ideas or plans you made to validate a product feature need to be properly updated. Such document is called test case document. Precisely, a test case is a brief description of what to test and how to test. What we are going to document in these test cases. What is the procedure we have to follow for testing a product? Step 1, step 2, step 3. So that the other person who do not have any knowledge about the product should able to test the product functionality by referring our test case document. Your test case document should neatly explain what is the procedure we have to follow for testing a feature in the product. How to check admin login? What is the first step? What is the second step? What is the last step? The procedure of testing the product functionality need to be properly documented. It's called test procedure. In order to verify some features, you need to supply some sample data called test data. And when I perform some action, say when I enter a correct username, correct password and click submit, what is expected? When I give a wrong username, wrong password and click submit button, what is expected? Supposing we are testing a money transfer feature in a banking product. When I made a money transfer of 10,000 rupees, what are the expected service charges? The test procedure, sample data, expected behavior, planned and documented to validate a functionality in the system is called a test case. When you are working for a startup organization who are dealing small budget projects, documentation and the process will kill the time, takes lots of time. The time or the infrastructure or the budget will not permit to follow the process. They skip the process, but they test the product. Ad hoc testing, informal testing. When you are working for a process-oriented companies, same level 3, level 4, level 5 organization, they will not compromise on the process because they deal big products, they deal big budget products where 100% process they will follow. In this scenario, after documenting the test scenarios, for every scenario we need to plan and document properly how to test the scenario 1, how to test the scenario 2, how to test the scenario n. Such document is called test case document. So precisely, the test procedure, test data, expected behavior, plan to verify a functionality in the system is called a test case. For every scenario, minimum to minimum, we have to create 2 test cases. One in a positive direction, other one in a negative direction. Now let me introduce you the test case document, test case template, and I'll teach you how to write test cases for one sample scenarios like Gmail login, because you know about the Gmail login. Then we start creating the test cases for RNHRM application scenarios, whatever we have documented. Previously, we learned one template, scenario template. This kind of template followed in organization for creating test cases, documenting test cases. At here, we have to update the name of the project. For which project you are creating these test cases. Say, for example, Gmail. What is the first column in the template? Test case, number. Hash meaning generally, number. TC001, test case 1. In the description column, we update precisely what to test and how to test. I am preparing test cases to verify Gmail login functionality. What is the positive test case for Gmail login here? Check Gmail login with valid data, valid input,
data input,
valid credentials, anything will go. Valid inputs, valid data. Login generally we call as credentials, right? Check Gmail login with valid credentials. Here we have to write up the procedure. How to verify Gmail login with valid inputs? We have to write the procedure here. Step 1, first step. We are writing test cases to test a web application. To access any web application, so here we are going to write the procedure. Step 1, step 2, step 3, something. Step 1. Open some browser. Enter valid URL and click go. This is the first step. What is the data required to run the first step? URL. Here the very first step is enter valid URL and click go. The data required to run the first step, URL. This is the input data. What is expected here?
open browser.
No. When I enter a valid URL and click go, what is expected from the system? We have to update here. System should, no compromise.
Login page.
System should, always we use the word system should display. No compromise.
Login page.
If not, it is a bug.
System should open Gmail account.
System should display login page. Test case number, test case description, step number, step description, data required to run the step. When I perform the first step, when I follow the first step, when I execute the first step, what is expected? System should display login page. So as of now, what are the columns? Test case number, test case description, step number, step description, test data, and expected. What's the next column here? actual. What do you want me to write here? We are preparing the test cases.
Actual will by running the test data only we know the actual result, sir.
Repeat. Repeat.
Sir, by running the test case only we know the executing the test case only we know the actual result, sir.
Perfect.
After executing
So,
the test case.
what do you want me to do at this moment? Blank. You understand what he said? At the time of test preparation, how will you know how the system going to respond? On the other side, developers are building the product. This side, you are making your plans ready to test the product being constructed. The moment when you are writing test cases, we do not know how the system going to work. We are making our plans ready. When the application given, whatever the plans you made, you start executing the plans, test cases. That time only we come to know how the system going to respond. You understand what I said? At the time of test case execution only, we observe how system is working. At the moment you are writing test cases, we do not know how the system going to work. At this moment, this column blank. We have created many test cases. You made your plans ready for testing your product. Developer given the product to you after construction. Whatever the plans you made, you start executing the plans. That time we observe how system working. How system work during test run is called actual. So at the time of test preparation, we do not know how the system going to work. This column will be blank. After executing this test case, we observe actual behavior of the system, update here. After updating actual behavior, we compare actual and expected. We compare actual and expected after execution. When both are same, we update the status as pause. If not same, we update status as fail. These two columns are blank during test preparation. What is the last column? How important this test case to run? We are creating a test case to verify login functionality. Low priority, medium priority, high priority, very high priority.
Very high.
Very high.
Very high.
What is that? Here P stands for priority 0. 0 is highest value, lowest value. 0 is highest value or least value.
Here is highest.
Index wise 0 is the highest value. Any index starts from 0. In some companies, in place of very high, they use a word P0, priority 0, shortly P0, high P1, medium P2,
P2.
low P3. P0 nothing but very high priority, P1 high priority, P2 medium priority, P3 low priority. In some documentation, when you observe P0, P1, P2, you should have the clarity what it is. For that reason I explained. Mostly we use very high. Test case completed. Test case completed for verifying Gmail login with valid data. Only one step completed. Switch on the stove, only completed. Remaining cooking process not documented. You have to document remaining procedure also, right? Step 2. Yesterday I have shown you one Microsoft document explaining steps to install the product. Like we are writing the steps to test Gmail login with valid credentials. In order to verify Gmail login by giving valid credentials, what is the second step we have to follow? Enter valid
Enter
Name
valid
and password.
valid
And password.
valid password
user
and click login. You know the current version of the Gmail, not very old version. In the current, we are writing test procedure for Gmail login testing, right? The current version of the Gmail login, we have username and password together. In the current version of the Gmail login, do we have username and password together?
No, sir.
no sir
After the
We have
login,
only username. When the username you have entered is right, then only you are allowed to enter the password. We enter the username and click next button. When the username is valid, then only you are allowed to give the password. We are writing the test procedure to verify current version of the Gmail login. Tell me what is the second step. Enter
valid user
valid username.
click go.
click next
But if it is RNHRM login, you have username and password together. There, enter valid username, enter valid password, and click sign in, submit, will go. But we are writing for Gmail login, as per your application design, we have to go. So enter valid username and click next. What is the data required to run this step? Username value. So what do you mean by valid username? Maybe I given 8 characters which is not in the database. Is it a valid account? Registered users are called valid users. Assumption here, this account already in the database. What is expected when I give a valid username and click next button? System should display password page, or you can also write in this way, system should ask to enter the password. I am repeating, previously I told you, whatever the way you document, if it is meaningful and understandable to others, it's enough. I written, system should display password page. Other team member written like this, system should ask to enter the password. Both are same, right? Either way you can write. Actual we are not going to fill now. After updating actual only, we compare actual and expected, update the corresponding status, pass, fail. For every step we are not writing priority, only test case level priority. Test case 1, high priority, medium priority, low priority. Once test case 1 selected to run, definitely you need to follow all the steps in the same sequence. Priority applicable to test case level, not for each and every step. One test case will have multiple steps. Test case 1, test case 2, test case n. In this, what is high priority, what is medium priority? Hope you understand the second step, right? What is the next step?
valid
Enter
password
valid password
valid password
and click next. The data required to run this step, password value. I'm giving some password. What is expected?
Gmail login page. Inbox page.
No, not Gmail login page, inbox page. When I give a correct password and click submit button, system should display inbox page. Remember, any login functionality Logout is not a separate scenario, separate feature, it's a part of the login. Here itself I am covering the procedure to verify even logout. Click logout. No data required to click the logout. We are not supplying any data. Blank. What is expected? System should redirect to login page. This is my first test case to verify Gmail login with valid inputs. Understood this? Better you note down the test case template. Test case template. A test case template. First you have an empty template because same template we use for any project. When you talk about detailed columns of the template, test case number, each test case should follow a unique identifier. Test case number, test case ID. Second column, test case description. In the description column, precisely we are going to document what to test and how to test. Then step number. Step number, step description together can be used to write the test procedure. What is the first step we have to follow? What is the next step you have to follow? What is the next step you have to follow to validate a feature? These two columns together called test procedure. In order to run some step, you need to supply some sample data, that column nothing but test data. The data required to execute test step, test data. Next column, expected result. When I execute a step, what is expected behavior of the system? Expected result. Actual result. How system responded is called actual. Status. After we compare expected and actual, we need to update the status pass fail and test priority. How important the test case to run is called test priority column. Understood? So these are the various columns of the document. Taken right? Better you take at least 2 test cases in your notes so that when you refer the notes back, you will understand how to write the test cases. Take it. Test cases for Gmail login functionality. Test cases for Gmail login. Test cases for Gmail login. Document this. Test case number TC001 description. Check Gmail login with valid data, valid credentials, valid inputs, anything will go. Understand and document it. In the test case description column, we have to write precisely what you want to test. You please observe here. What to test here? Gmail login. How you want to test it? With valid data. Test case description must explain precisely what to test and how to test. Check Gmail login with valid credentials. Step number, step description together should explain the procedure. Step number, step description together must explain the procedure to validate a feature. Open the browser, enter valid URL and click go. Enter valid username and click next. Enter valid password and click next. Click logout. This is a procedure to verify Gmail login with valid credentials. For executing any step, you need to supply some data for testing. The data you plan to verify a feature need to be updated as test data column. Step number, step description, data required to run the step. The next column expected. When you perform this action with this data, what is expected behavior of the system to be updated as expected result. I suggest while documenting expected result, use the word system should. No compromise on this. System should do this. If not, it is a bug. Taken, it is documented, this one. And here last we have only one column called priority. Actually is blank, status also blank, priority, very high priority, medium priority, low priority. These test case belongs to login, definitely it will take very high priority. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Right. You understand the process? You write the second test case. What is the second one? Check Gmail, login with invalid credentials, invalid data, anything will go, and neatly document the procedure. Remember, every test case execution must independent to each other. Meaning, every test case execution must independent to each other.
Should
When I am
not
writing
match.
procedure for second test case, we have to start from the very beginning, scratch. What is the first step? For second test case, what is the first step? Open the browser, enter valid URL and click go. Maybe here you are writing in a notebook. In a company, we make a soft copy, we update in a tool like Jira. You just copy and paste and we continue. Why we have to start from very beginning for every test case? Listen, there are two test cases to be run. One person created the two test cases. At the time of writing the second test case, we have not documented the procedure from the very beginning. First test case belongs to login, admin login in Primus Bank application. Second test case belongs to new branch creation, say. The person who wrote the procedure, step 1 for second test case, new branch creation, first step written like this, click branches. Now the other person who is executing these test cases, totally two test cases to be run. I given test case 1 to one team member to execute. I given second test case to other team member to execute. What is the first step in second test case? Click branches. The second person will be confused. Click branches, where to click branches? Every test case execution must independent to each other. So for every test case, we have to give the steps from the very beginning. Here our effort is copy and paste, we continue, but any test case when you refer, we have the clear navigation from beginning till end. That is called good document. So based on this, for the second test case also, first step is open the browser, enter valid URL and click go. From here you have to start. Cover all possible invalid combinations. You know about Gmail login behavior. You know about Gmail login, every day we are using it. So like a user, what are the various possibilities carried out by the end user in an invalid direction? For all these possibilities, how systems should work? You have that clarity, you document the procedure, then I'll document. So prepare the test case to verify Gmail login with invalid credentials. Majorly, we have to document the proper procedure. Proceed. Online team task is clear, right?
Sir, can you repeat once again, sir? Thank you.
I ask you, write the test case to verify Gmail login with invalid credentials.
Okay, sir.
What is the description? Description.
Gmail login with invalid credentials.
Check Gmail login with
Invalid credentials.
invalid credentials. Okay. What is the first step? Every test case execution must independent to each other. Based on this, the first step, open the browser, enter valid URL and click go. This is the application URL and it is expected behavior of the system. The second test case also belongs to login feature. It is also very high priority. Taken. Step 2. Tell me.
Enter your invalid username and click next.
Why valid
Click
username?
invalid
First,
username.
enter
Enter invalid username and click.
Invalid
I
username.
already covered here in the previous
Click
test.
next. No.
Agreed, we have to check with the combination. Let us start with the invalid username first. Enter invalid username
Invalid.
and click next. The data required to run this step, username. I given some sample data like ABCD. What is expected?
System should display some error message.
System should display
System
Enter
should
valid username. Enter valid username.
defect.
an error message. What is the expected error message here?
Wrong.
Enter valid
Wrong
username.
Enter
username.
valid username.
Or else enter valid username.
Enter valid username. See, while executing the step, you encounter some other message. Invalid username entered. Check your username. Invalid username entered. Sir, any message which is understandable to the end user can go, will find. I'm expecting system should display error message. Enter valid username. Maybe while executing the step, I encountered some other message, but which is understandable to the end user can be accepted. Got it? For that reason, most people will write, system should display appropriate error message. Appropriate meaning, any message which is understandable to the end user, acceptable. The next step. Tell me the next step. First, we have to enter a valid username. Then only you are allowed to enter a password as per the Gmail version design. So my step will be like this. Enter.
Valid username.
And click next.
Valid username.
Click next.
Click next. Then invalid password and click next.
Next.
Username is valid username. I'm giving some valid username. Password I am giving invalid.
Invalid.
What is expected here?
System should display an error message.
System should display error message. Enter password.
System should
Enter
display
valid password.
An error message.
error message.
Error message.
Password.
Enter valid password.
Enter valid password. Any other message which is understandable to the client, okay. We can accept during runtime. System should display an error message, enter valid password. Enough? Enough? Both invalid is not agreed in Gmail scenario. Because if you give a wrong username, you don't get the option to go to password. In Gmail scenario, it is not acceptable. In RIHRM application, it is valid because we have username password together. As per the Gmail version, when I give a wrong username, we don't have an option to go to password. Right? Any other?
Without data, sir.
And
Without the data means empty,
Empty password and username.
and we go for next. So what is display?
Leave
Empty.
Username and password.
username, not unpassword, because when you enter when you leave the username blank and click next, first of all, you don't get an option to go for password in Gmail version. In RIHRM application, we can write like that. Leave username blank and click next. No data required to run this step. What is expected? System should
Display an error message,
say an error message,
write some user ID.
enter username or
error message again.
Username cannot be blank.
Enter value user.
username cannot be blank. Enter username or username cannot be blank. What next? I have to verify if no password is entered, how does the system behaving? But if I want to enter a password, first I have to enter a valid username. Enter valid username. Click next.
Leave the password blank.
Leave password blank.
Leave password blank.
Click next.
Next.
Username. Password blank.
Blank.
What is expected?
System should display an error message. Password can't be blank.
System should display an error message. Password cannot be blank. These are the steps. Want to document this? Anyhow, I am going to upload this file in LMS. If you want to note down in a notebook, you can. Otherwise, we'll go further.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if the boundary value analysis, how in this apply, sir? Use for
No. We'll wait. I'll discuss about this. Here,
Okay,
they will not be applicable. When there is a range, then only BVA will come into the picture. When there is a range of inputs to be considered, then only boundary value analysis will come into the picture. Every technique we should not apply in every scenario. There is a functionality like money transfer. When amount between 1,000 to 10,000 transferred, 5 rupees to be deducted as a service charge. 1,000 to 10,000, there are about 9,000 inputs. I cannot test with all 9,000 inputs one by one. In this context, I'll go for boundary value analysis, lower boundary value, upper boundary value. Here it is not applicable. After writing few more test cases, we'll talk about the topic boundary value analysis ECP together. Okay?
thank you, sir.
You're taking it? No? Okay. We have to write for everything just to teach you the template. To understand how to use the template, I prepared for only login. Here, my concentration is not Gmail login, Gmail applications in a test case writing. To explain you the template, how to make use of the test case document, I given these two test cases. Here, our expectation, understanding the template, that's it. Understood this, right? Right. Online team understood the template? Template. By writing more test cases only, you will get the confidence.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Template understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Generally, who write test case in a company?
Sir.
Tester,
Who will
sir.
write test case in a company?
Tester.
Tester, sir.
Somebody is a team lead here. Who? Yes. If team lead write test cases, what you will do, madam? Sit in coffee shop? Team lead write test cases, project manager execute test cases. Right. Who will write test cases?
Yes.
Not you.
Tester.
Right.
QA engineers.
You have to write the test cases, right? I show you the scenarios what we have finalized for Orange HRM product. You write test cases. Scenario by scenario, we create test cases. Scenario by scenario, we create test cases. We have finalized test scenarios for Orange HRM product. In companies, after writing the scenarios, once the scenarios are verified and approved by your team lead, next task, creating test cases for the scenarios. A scenario explaining what to be tested. What to test in Orange HRM product we have documented. Your senior person finalizes them. Yes, these are the these are the features to be tested in the first sprint of the Orange HRM product implementation. As per our approved scenario document, the first scenario check admin login. So if you are really working on this product in real time, what do you have to do now? For the scenario 1, admin login, you have to write the test cases. Take it. Write test cases. Write test cases for admin login. Write test cases for admin login in Orange HRM project. Write test cases for admin login in Orange HRM application. Online team, there is some noise coming. Shweta, please mute. Write test cases for admin login in Orange HRM application. Gmail login design different. Orange HRM application login design is different. For this login, we ask you to write the test cases. Already we understand the template, how to write the test cases. Now you write for login first. Little difference you get. Gmail login and this login. So listen. Next 2-3 sessions. Until you say we are comfortable in creating test cases, this session will continue. Mostly in manual project testing, your job is understanding the requirement, writing scenarios, writing test cases, executing test cases, bug reporting, correct? This is the practical work in manual testing. You are not going to write any code in manual testing. Most of the time we spend in writing scenarios, writing test cases, executing test cases, bug reporting. So you need to have the clarity how to write test cases and test scenarios for any given product. Previously you confirmed me, yes, scenario wise we understood. Like once you said we are comfortable in creating test cases, then only this session will stop. Then only I'll go for the other topic. As you are going to write testers or writing test case in a company, From here itself, you need to have a practice how to create test cases. For login, previously login, you have simply written Gmail login, I explained. You start from this login. Not only for the login, we have more scenarios for RIHRM. We have finalized almost about 10 scenarios. For all these 10 scenarios, we create test cases. Got it? First start from the admin login. Proceed. Proceed. Online team, I recommend I'll give the soft copy of the test case template in the chat box. Venkat, make chart enabled for everyone. Online team, I uploaded the test case template in our Zoom chart. You download the file. From the mobile device, you cannot. From the desktop or laptop also, you can download. Rather than noting in notebook, directly start documenting in the Excel sheet itself. In our Zoom chart, I uploaded the test case template in an empty test case template. You download it. You start documenting the test case in the Excel template. Thank you.
Yes, sir, received. Thank you.
Did you download it, Praveen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right.
Sir, I can't see, sir.
I didn't receive.
No, I uploaded in Zoom chart. I'm uploading in our LMS also. For your reference, I uploaded even Gmail test cases, whatever I have created here. An empty test case template, the Gmail test cases, what I have written, uploaded into our LMS. Now you are allowed to download them. All these are downloadable copies. Are you using all these? You have Microsoft Excel in your computer? Phone? You are working on a professional software working. In mobile, everything will not work. You have to use a desktop or a laptop for working.
Yeah, sir. I download.
Yes, madam. You have to cover all the combinations here. Leave username blank, enter password and click submit. Check system asking to enter the username or not. Next scenario, enter username, leave password blank and click submit. Other step, leave both username, password blank and click submit. All combinations we have to cover. There are first
Sir,
test
can you
case
share?
only valid perception. Enter valid username, valid password and click submit. System should display admin module. In the second test case only, you'll get different combinations. See, don't club together. You have to see, separately you have to write a positive test, separately you have to write a negative test. Positive test case objective is to confirm first of all login working or not. Second test case objective is if the end user perform different invalid action, how does our system behaving to confirm that? Like a end user you think. Check with all possible combinations. Proceed. See, listen. Everybody listen. Online team also. 1 hour back, you do not know what is a test case. Today, just we started learning. Here, I am not even expecting more than 60% of the perfectness in the beginning day one. If we are able to start, that is enough for today. By writing more right test cases only, we'll get the perfection. Understood? Because today, 1 hour back, you do not know how to write a test case. Just 1 hour of discussion, you got some inputs. So we have to write more test cases, then only you will get the perfectness. 3 years of experience people. Years and years people are writing test cases. If fresher able to document perfectly 100%, nobody will recruit senior people. Paying 8 lakhs of salaries. Got it? Any work, slowly we have to adopt, learn. Definitely we do mistake. After writing, listen, after writing 2 test cases, you have a self-review. Again, you have a check. Somebody else referring my test case document, you prepared. Somebody else may execute the test cases. Any other person refer my test case document, they can easily able to understand and follow or not. In that way, you have to cover. When you are reviewing your test case, you feel, no, better to modify like this, better to modify like this, you have to modify. Got it? Right. And offline team, if you are comfortable to come with the laptops to the sessions from tomorrow, that is your choice. Got it? Right. Online team, all you people from tomorrow do not connect with the mobile devices, connect with desktop or laptop devices. Because this, if you want to write test cases, if you want to run test cases, if you want to report a bug, you need a mission. If we have the facility, come. Otherwise, after the class, we have the lab. Completed or you need some time? Write it. Take 5 minutes, write it. Listen. The very first test case, check admin login with valid credentials for RNHRM application admin login. Hope you have written the procedure in this way. Step 1, open the browser, enter valid URL and click go. rnhrm.kuwaittech.com is the URL. System should display login page. The second step, enter valid username, valid password and click login. Username value admin, password value QH12362123. System should display admin module. The last step, click log out. System should redirect to login page. Hope all you have written the first test case in this way. The second one, check admin login with invalid credentials. To verify admin login with invalid credential, first step is same. Open browser, enter valid URL and click go. System should display login page. Second step, enter valid username. Sir, order can be anything. Coverage should be there. Whatever the sequence you write, nobody will care. Coverage should be there. Valid username, invalid password and click login. System should display an error message, invalid credentials. Invalid username, valid password and click login. System should display a message, invalid credentials. You answer me how you have written the expector for this. Enter valid username, invalid password and click login. Valid username, wrong password. Enter? No, we should not. If really system showing a message, enter enter valid password, it's a bug. Reason, I agree, we are giving a valid username. In the second step, I am giving a valid username, but wrong password. Here expected error message should be in a very generic manner. Supposing somebody else cracking your account, trying to hack your account. They given some username, some password and click submit. System displayed a message, incorrect password, meaning username is correct. 50% of the hacking job is done. Considering this in mind, it should display a generic message, invalid username or password or invalid credentials. Similarly, in an online payment gateway functionality, when you are trying to make an online payment, we have to enter the credit card number, expiry month and year, name displayed on the card, CVV number. 4 inputs here: card number, month of expiry, month and year of expiry, CVV number, name displayed on the card. Supposing somebody else trying to crack your card, theft your card details, misuse it. He given some card number, month, expiry, month and year, CVV number, name displayed on the card. Is trying to hack your account. System showing a message, invalid CVV number, meaning remaining all are correct. Now this person will focus on only cracking the CVV number, correct? For this reason, you observe this kind of applications, this kind of functionality, we don't get an accurate message, CVV number wrong. You get a generic message, please check your card details, invalid card details. Invalid card details meaning something is wrong, not correctly displayed, this is wrong. Hope you are getting what I am saying. So in this kind of feature, for security reason, it should display a generic message, not an accurate message. Valid username, wrong password and click submit. System should display a message, invalid credentials. Like invalid username, correct password and click submit. System should display a message, invalid credentials. Invalid username, invalid password. System should display a message invalid credentials. Combinations. Combinations also required. Hmm. How generally programmer will create the logic for this? If user ID exists in the database and password exists in the database, if it is Gmail login, show inbox, else show some error. By mistake, your programmer created given OR operator. OR meaning anyone. Anyone. If I check with only one, this will be satisfied. If I check with multiple combination, maybe not satisfied. There are combinations also to be covered. So here, invalid username, invalid password and click login, system should display appropriate error message, invalid credentials. The next step, objective is, if no username is entered, how does the system behaving? Leave username blank, enter valid password and click submit. System should display error message, username cannot be blank. Next step, enter valid username but leave password blank and click submit. System should display error message, password cannot be blank. Leave both username, password blank and click submit. System should display error message, enter username and password, something like this. So this is how we can write the second test case. Hope mostly you covered like this? Yes, sir. Right. When I leave username blank, but password is entered, expected behavior of the system, enter username. When I leave both blank and click submit button, expected behavior of the system is different. Enter username and password, otherwise enter all mandative fields. As the expected behavior of the system is varying, definitely we have to cover one step for that. If multiple inputs are giving the same output, one step is enough. For inputs based on the input expected behavior of the system varying, definitely we need to cover all the steps. Right. For today I stop here. Tomorrow we'll write more test cases. What are the other scenarios? Recovery password. Tomorrow we'll write test cases for how to verify the user able to recover the password or not. How to write the test procedure. Similarly, we have changed password. Then employee registration. Like we write more test cases. Clear this, right? I uploaded Gmail test cases, also our test case template in our LMS. You can download it. You also try. You also try to write the test cases. Thank you, online team. We'll continue tomorrow.